Let's go to Pauline Hanson now, the One Nation founder and leader. She joins me from Queensland. Good to talk to you, Pauline, again. Why are you threatening, in fact promising, to use your preferences to help unseat Liberals in key seats? You call them leftist Liberals. We're talking about Trent Zimmerman in North Sydney. We're talking about James Stephens in Sturt in South Australia. And, of course, Bridget Archer Bass in Tasmania. You're actively looking to tip them out with your preferences.
No, it's not my preferences. The preferences belong to the voters themselves, Chris. Now, I've spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in trying to inform the voters they own the preferences, not the political parties. It is only my recommendation that I'm putting out to the voters. What I'm doing is I'm doing Scott Morrison's job of getting rid of the left-leaning Liberals that have destroyed the Conservative Party, and they need to go. You know, we haven't got many strong Conservatives left in the Liberal Party. Not only that, those members of the Liberal Party have said to me, in Liberal and also the National Party, said our party's been taken over by the lefties. And those lefties, I'm saying, the ones that don't support religious freedom, who want gender realignment, those people who want critical race theory or change the curriculum, these people don't believe in the values or freedoms of the Australian people. They're in the wrong party. They should be in with the Greens.
We'll come to that.
So Scott Morrison, that's why he's turned to the left and gone to the 2050 net zero because of what they've been pushing him on.
I'll come to those arguments in a moment and that very broad church that is the Liberal Party that you're trying to demonstrate there. But really, this is an act of political revenge, isn't it? You don't like what the Liberals have recommended for preferences in the Senate race in Tasmania, so you're hitting back at some targeted seats around the country.
Hold on, Chris, I've been on your program before, and before I knew about what was happening in Tasmania with the preferences, I told you I was going to target them. So this is not new to you or to your viewers, because I have said this for the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it's not something new that I've come up with. The thing is, I am shocked, absolutely shocked and disgusted with the Liberal Party that in Tasmania, without even debating or negotiating with Jackie Lambie, have put her on the Senate ticket, not One Nation. This is Jackie Lambie, who hates their guts, who will not work with them. They've said they can't work with her. She votes most of the time with the Labor and the Greens, and yet they're preferencing her above One Nation, who's tried to work constructively. They've said that I'm the best one to work with in the Parliament with regards to legislation, improving the legislation. And you know, Scott Morrison's out there saying, well, we've done the apprenticeship scheme, we're getting jobs for Australians. Guess whose program it was? Mine. I had to fight tooth and nail to get that program up initially, and that he's claimed it as his own. They didn't have the vision for our youth and giving jobs to Australians rather than bringing in migrants from overseas to fill these positions.
All right, let's talk about the real politic of
about destroying One Nation.
Let's talk about the real politic of where this is heading. There's a lot of truth in your arguments about the Liberal Party. I've said for many years now that the so-called moderates, especially of the New South Wales branch of the Liberal Party, will be the death of the Liberal Party. We've just seen in South Australia how the moderates completely stuffed up their crack at state government and what voters thought about that. But if you knock out these moderates, if you help to unseat them at this election, you will get rid of an LNP government, a coalition government, and you will help install a Labor Greens government in this country. No, you're wrong. Because the fact is that we're working closely with the National Party in prime seats that we are going to help them get elected, which will balance it out. So don't think that. And as I've said all along, Chris, it's only my recommendation. It is up to the voters out there. You know, they own their hang on a second. That's a very important point.
I'm saying vote One Nation, One.
Yeah, we mention that on this program often, and our viewers know it. Our viewers are into politics. They know they control their preferences, and whatever is on that how to vote card is just a recommendation from the party. But we know a lot of people follow those how to vote cards. And what seats then do you think that you can help the Nationals win to make up for seats you helped the Liberals lose?
Well, they're looking at a few seats around the place, and I think that we can win the seat of Hunter. And I think we're possibility of us picking up seats. I think there's a strong possibility with Hunter, but they're looking at a couple of other seats they're targeting. We're actually going to help them. Chris, off the top of my mind, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, but
yeah, well, there might be. You might have to find a couple because your preferences could be pretty crucial when it comes to a couple of these seats. What I want to get to then is whether
Chris,
this is a decision that's final.
Say, apart from that, Chris, can I just say to you that I owe the Labor Party and the Greens nothing. And I've said constantly, I don't want to see them running this country because they will destroy it, and I know that. But Chris, I'm not the lackey for the Liberal Party either. We are standing on our principles and fighting. I have fought on many issues there on the floor of Parliament for the Australian values, and the Liberals have not supported it. You couldn't even vote for it's okay to be white. This is bloody ridiculous. They're taken over by the critical race theory that's happening as well. I have to stand my ground because Morrison at the last election put One Nation last behind the Labor and the Greens. Why didn't anyone say something about that? No one says anything about it. I'm supposed to answer to everyone. No one goes and asks him the questions. Go and ask him why he's in your interview, go and ask him why he's putting Jackie Lambie ahead of One Nation.
I certainly will.
They're the ones that are bloody minded over this. I have fought everything that I've done for this country. It started with John Howard, changing the preference system, then Tony Abbott, then my imprisonment. I came back. What have I done? Worked closely with the Liberal Party for the people of this nation to ensure for good legislation and policy. I will stand by that, but I'm not going to be bowing to their demands because they are not the people that they're supposed to be, the Conservative side of politics, and I am.
Is there time for this to change in terms of those preference allocations? Would you consult with the Liberal Party, whether that's directly with the Prime Minister or whether at officials, to see whether you can undo their preferences to Jackie Lambie and what you're promising to do in these seats?
Chris, we're talking about 5 seats across the country, okay? Let them prove themselves to the voters in their electorates if they've done their jobs properly or not. It is not up to me to actually just, to say where that should go. It is about Morrison needs to change his attitude. We couldn't even get on the ticket, the Senate ticket in Victoria. They put Darren Hinch on the ticket. Darren Hinch. They couldn't even work with him. South Australia, guess what? I was supposed to get preferences from South Australia, from the Libs in South Australia for the upper house. Guess what? Nothing. Gave me nothing. They reneged on their word. This is what they've done to me. It's not, Chris, it's not about, I've always worked extremely hard for the people of this nation, and I'm a person of my word, and I stand by it. But I'm not going to keep getting kicked in the guts by the Liberal Party. I am no one's lackey, and I'll keep saying that. I stand for the people of this nation to give them a fair go, while the Libs need to stand up to what their party stands for, the Conservative values.
Pauline, thanks for joining us and telling the country exactly how you feel about this. Appreciate your time.